स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। So we were in the 10th chapter of Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. In the last class, we were studying the 14th verse of this 10th chapter of Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. With that, we concluded our discussion in the previous class 2 weeks back. So the 14th verse, what it was? The sarvametad ritang manye yanmang vadasi keshava nahi te bhagavan vyakting vidur deva nadanava. O Krishna, I totally accept everything you have told me as the truth. Sarvam edam ritam. Whatever you have said, yanmang vadasi keshava. Whatever you have said, I accept them as truth. Nahi bhagavan vyakting vidur deva nadanava. So, O Lord, neither the gods, the deva, nor the demons, the danava, can understand your true personality. So, as He is the source of everything, so naturally, to know Him is impossible for the creation. The creation can never know the created. The source can never be known. So then how to know the Lord? The question comes, how to know the Lord? So for that, the 15th verse, we find Arjuna now is quite submissive. He is full of humility and devotion. And now he is taking refuge in the Lord and asking Him to reveal His nature, real nature, to his devotee, to Arjuna. So what he is saying? Swayam eva atmanatmanam vetha tvang purushottama bhuta bhavana bhutesha deva deva jagatpate. Swayam eva atmana atmanam. So you alone know yourself by yourself. Atmana, by yourself. What do you know? Atmanam. You know yourself by yourself. Vethatvang Purushottama. So, oh, the Supreme Person. Purusha Uttama, the Supreme Person. So you alone know yourself by yourself. Bhuta Bhavana Bhutesha Deva Deva Jagatpate. So now these are all the attributes by which the manifested form of the Absolute, the Ishwar, the Bhagavan, has been described by Arjuna. What is saying? Bhuta Bhavana. Just to exist means, to be born means Bhuta. Why all the beings are called Bhuta? That anything which is born, from Bhudhatu, the word Bhuta came. That anything which is born is Bhuta. So the entire creation which we are seeing, so Bhuta Bhavana. So you are the originator of all the beings. And not only that, you are the Lord of them. You have created them and you are the sovereign. You are the Lord of the entire creation. It is by your dictates the entire creation is moving. So that's the idea behind the Bhutesha. Deva Deva Jagatpate. You are the Supreme God. You are the God of the gods. Deva Deva. And Jagatpate. So you are the ruler. Pati. Pati means the ruler. The Lord. Jagatpate. You are the ruler of the universe. So, let us go to this verse by the word significance of what has been said. Swayam eva atmanat manam vetha. So God is self-revealing. Nothing else can reveal the divine. So we think with our spiritual practice we are going to know God. But this is again the outcome of ignorance. We can never know God by our endeavor. With our senses, with our mind, we can objectify the world. The world is there as the object. But we can never know God in that way, because God is the eternal subject. And the subject can never be known. That example which we give always from the Drik, Drishya, Viveka. What's that? With the eyes I can see everything, but I cannot see my own eyes. When the eye is the subject, I cannot see the subject. I can see the object. As we find when Swami Vivekananda was in the West, he was meditating, and the child of the host, he somehow sneaked into the room. No one was actually allowed to enter the room, but as a small child, he doesn't know all those, the do's and don'ts. He somehow saw no one is there, no one is observing him. He sneaked into the room, and seeing Swami Vivekananda in that meditation posture, he never understood that what he is doing. He slowly came and then sat on the lap of Swami Vivekananda. As he sat on the lap, naturally Swamiji came out of his meditation. He opened his eyes. The moment he opened his eyes, this child the first question was, he was mature enough to ask this question. That now, as Swami Vivekananda was staying in their house, always the discussion was going on spiritual matters. The topic of discussion was God and God alone. So naturally the child thought he is the authority. So his simple question was whether God is. Do God exist? Swami Vivekananda just replied, yes. Yes, my child, God do exist. And the very next question of the child, then why cannot I see him? If God is, why cannot I see him? The Swamiji's immediate answer was, can you see your eyes? Can you see your own eyes? So the child never realized, never understood what Swamiji is saying. Much later, when he is writing the reminiscences, Swami Vivekananda was no more there. Now he is an adult. He is writing the reminiscences, and now he has realized what's the inner meaning of these words. Can you see your own eyes? With the eyes I can see everything, but can I see the eyes? No. Because the subject can never be known. Then how do I know the existence of the eyes? Because whatever I see with my eyes is processed again with the mind. So now mind becomes the subject. Compared to that, all the things which I am perceiving through the eyes itself becomes an object. So the mind is objectifying the eye. So that's the question which we find even in Kena Upanishad. Who is the one who is the eye of the eye? Chakshu. Ear of the ear. Srotrasya srotram. So what it means? That whatever I am perceiving through my eyes, through my ears, is being processed by someone else. So immediate subject, then the mind becomes the subject. After that, again the question is, then is the mind the ultimate subject? No. If this be true, that the subject is never known by itself, then how can I observe my own mind? In my mind, whatever thought processes are going on, isn't it that I am observing them? Isn't it that I know my thoughts? I have to sit back and just look at my mind to see my thoughts. So that's why they're saying, but the mind also is sin. That means there is someone else who is the seer. Who is he? He cannot be known. The moment he is known, he becomes an object. So that's why they are saying that you know yourself. We, with our mind and senses, beyond which the God as the eternal existence is there. With my limited mind and senses, I can never know him. So that's why he is Swayam Vedha. He knows himself. He is Swayam Prakasha. He reveals himself. Just the way to see the sun, I don't need a lamp. Do I just, in a dark room, I take the lamp to illumine the room. But to see the sun, do I need a lamp? Because no, because sun is revealing everything. So similarly, the self is the one who is revealing the entire existence. Because of him, everything becomes an object of perception. Because of him. As Swamiji in one of his lecture in the West very nicely is saying, that the self can never be known, but through him everything is known. I see the chair through the self. The chair becomes known through the self. So that's the idea here. It is Swayam Vedha. So now here, this God knows himself in two ways, both as the unconditioned and as well as the conditioned. What it means unconditioned and conditioned? That as we say again and again in Vedanta, they say that the microcosm and the macrocosm is built in the same plan. To understand God knows himself as the conditioned as well as the unconditioned. Let us try to understand by our own individuality. Now when I'm awake with all my senses, I'm seeing the entire world. I know this world. But at the same time, I am aware of myself too. I am. If I close all my senses, can I jump out of myself? No. Just the way I cannot get rid of my shadow, I can never get off this experience that I am. I am. I can doubt everyone else's existence. Maybe the science will get so much advanced that in a room when many are sitting, and most probably there are few artificial intelligence looking exactly like humans. Can I anyway differentiate who is a human being and who is a robot? Impossible. I can doubt everyone else's existence, but can I doubt my own existence? No. Because I know I am. What's the difference between me and that artificial intelligence? When I'm thinking, I know I'm thinking. I'm seeing my thoughts. When I'm perceiving anything, I know I'm perceiving. Someone is an observer. That's the ultimate catch point of that consciousness. That someone is there looking at your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions. Now, for you, I'm not sure whether it's just a machine or someone is observing. So I can doubt the entire existence, but I can never doubt my own existence. So in Sanskrit, it is called Swasang Vedya. So these are the two types of perceptions. I know myself and I know the world. So the same thing is being mentioned here when they are saying that Lord is, He knows Himself. What it means? As the unconditioned being. Means when the Lord is not being projected as the universe, as the Swasang Vedya Chaitanya, that He is aware of His own existence as that unconditioned absolute. He is aware. But there is a difference of His awareness of the entire existence. There we are alpagya. Our understanding is limited. Our knowledge is limited. But God, when He's seeing when He's projecting as the universe, then He is all-knowing. Then He is sarvagya. We are alpagya, He is sarvagya. So why? What makes the difference? That he knows everything. Actually, it's the same mind, the collective mind. The God is the collective mind of which our mind is a part. Why it becomes a part? Why not the whole? Because of our likes, dislikes, biases, our knowledge gets clouded. It gets limited. In Vedanta, this wonderful example is there. We in so many classes, we gave that example. That why our knowledge is limited. It is not unbound. It cannot see the thing in entirety because of the various samskaras which creates our biases. And that very nice example in Vedanta is the stump of a tree lying in the corner of a park. The tree has died, just the stump is remaining. Now in the twilight hours in the evening, as sufficient light is not there, a thief who is running away from the police, being scared of the police from a distance, looks at the stump and thinks it is the police. The police who is in search of the thief, he is searching the thief. From a distance, he sees the stump, he thinks it is the thief. The child who was playing with his other playmates, now it's the time to return home because it's getting dark. So the child knows the mother is waiting somewhere in the corner of the park to take him back home. So now the child is in search of the mother. From a distance, the child sees the stump and thinks it is the mother. And similarly, the mother who is waiting for the child from a distance sees the stump and thinks it's his child. And now some lover is there, waiting there for his beloved. And from a distance, he sees the stump and thinks it's to be the beloved. So now see, everyone's knowledge has got deluded. Why that delusion has happened? Because of the biases, that what you want, that's what you see. So this happens in our day-to-day life, which it speaks of clouding of our vision. Our biases clouds our vision. Then not only clouds, it also limits. That's the wonderful example of Ramakrishna, where the two persons are playing the chess and the third one is observing. The one who is observing, he always says the correct move. The one who are playing, they are faltering in their moves. So we may feel the one who is observing is a good player. But now when the role changes, one of the players becomes the onlooker and the onlooker becomes the player, we find immediately the moment when he was the onlooker, he was saying the correct moves. But now he has started faltering. Why this happens? When we are playing, the expectation grows. The mind now becomes clouded. What is the expectation? I have to win. And with that, the fear factor is also develops. What is the fear? I may lose. Now this expectation, fear, these clouds our intellect. It doesn't allow me to focus fully on the game. And as a result, again my knowledge becomes limited. There's a wonderful example that God knows everything. We have studied that He knows His past births, but we don't know. Why? Again, as we get so much involved with the world because of our attachment, that again restricts our vision. But let us take an example again. Suppose in a room, a dark room, all the doors and windows are closed, and you are seeing some pictures being projected through a projector on a screen. Most probably some video, some movies is going on. And then someone enters and opens all the doors and windows. Then what? Would you still see that picture on the screen? No. The moment the light floods in, the picture is no more visible. It is still there. but it has been totally, that overshadowed, overwhelmed by the light which is coming through the windows. So what it speaks, that because of our tremendous attachment with the world, the moment we are born, we open our eyes, look out, with our ears we hear. So all the windows and doors are open. And then what happens? Within the psyche, all the past samskaras, past memories, smritis, they're still there, projected in the screen of the mind, but they get overwhelmed by all these perceptions. So nowadays you will find that wherever there is past life regression, your first thing is you have to calm down, close your senses, lie down, relaxed, and then gradually you are taken through a process to regress and see your past. It's not that all will be genuine, but the general procedure is the same. What is the idea? The moment you try to stop your interaction with the world and keep your mind totally calm, inactive, then as there is no projection, doors and windows are not open, so the projection which is constantly going on of our past samskaras, that becomes vivid, visible. If you listen, if you just hear the stories of this Jatishmara, that we know that few are born with the memory of the past, and it has been invariably found that all the Jatishmaras, those who remember their past, they remember their past as a child. As they start growing up, that this memory fades off. It's only as a child. As a child, that's what again it speaks of. The more you get involved with the present life, the more your doors and windows are open and it's flooding your psyche with the happenings of the present. The past gradually fades off. So now you will understand why, as a human being, an ordinary being, a deluded being, we are alpagya. Our knowledge is limited. God has no such attachments. For him, he is just the observer without any biases, without any samskaras to get attached to the world with the kleshas. What are the kleshas? Raga, dvesha, abhinivesha. Attachment, hatred, fear, nothing is there. He's just observing. And then the vision becomes expanded, clear. Nothing is there to obstruct. And that's why he's sarvagya. He knows the past, the present, the future, and everything as it is in its entirety. So that's why he's the one who is all-knowing. He knows himself, both as the conditioned as well as the unconditioned. No one else knows that. It's impossible. So that's the idea of this phrase which is said in this word, Swayam eva atmana atmanam vittha. You alone know yourself by yourself, both as the unconditioned. That to a certain extent we also realize that I am. The Lord is also aware of that. But as the conditioned, there is a difference. We are alpagyas, our knowledge is limited, but the Lord is sarvagya. He knows everything, and he is the sovereign, being the source of all. He is the ultimate reality. So he is the one who knows, just as a father. He is aware of his own existence, but a child, he doesn't know when father was born. He has to rely on what father says, mother says about their past. So that as the source can never be known by the one who came after. As the effect can never know the cause. So in both the ways, it is impossible for us to know the Lord. So that's why he knows, he alone knows himself. No one knows. So Arjuna, after that, will be using some 5 powerful names, each deepening the vision of the divine. The Lord has been addressed by 5 different attributes in this verse. What are they? Purushottama. Bhuta Bhavana, and then Bhutesha, Deva Deva, Jagatpate. So, what these terms mean? Purushottama. This is a very, very poignant term in Bhagavad Gita. In no other scriptures you find this term Purushottama, Purusha Uttama. What it speaks of? That generally, from the Advaitic standpoint of view, we say that the non-dual consciousness is the reality. Everything else is unreal, is mere projection. And that way, we do not take into consideration the so-called the reality which has been projected. Whatever may be the reason, it is the Lord who has been projected as the universe. As Sri Ramakrishna used to say, that when you are measuring a fruit, you cannot just say that I will just extract the pulp out of it and take its weight. Leave out the skin, leave out the seed, only the pulp. Ojone kom porbe. The weight will be less. So it has to be taken into its entirety. Similarly, in Bhagavad Gita, the idea is wonderful. That if you are always thinking that non-dual consciousness alone is real, you somehow miss the point by negating the fact that this world is not true as it is. As Sri Ramakrishna used to say, that after 1, you go on adding 0, the value goes on increasing. Remove the 1, everything becomes 0. So the world is 0. We understand. Without that 1, it is 0. But because of 1, it do have some value for certain time, as long as it is projected. So I cannot simply negate it. So in Bhagavad Gita, the idea of Purushottama comes into picture. That what? The one who is that absolute non-dual consciousness, that is his para prakriti, that is supreme nature. In the 15th chapter, in the 13th chapter, they will say that is the Akshara Purusha. Because that doesn't diminish. Akshara means that which is not mutilated. Everything else is constantly changing. Just even in our own life you find that do I ever feel that the real me is changing? The I who was the small boy has changed as an adult person? No, it is the same I. My body is changing, my thought processes are changing. But it is the same I who is going through all these changes. So there are these two aspects. One is that feeling of that I which is not changing. That is the Akshara. Kshara means mutilation. That which is not mutilated. That which is not the flow. That's one aspect. And another aspect is the constant change, Kshara. So this one is the higher nature, one is the lower nature. One is para, one is the apara. One is Kshara, constantly changing, and this is Akshara, which is beyond all changes. But do I feel that I, when I have closed my eyes, everything, and only am aware of I am, that's my only existence? When I open my eyes, I am open, interacting with the world, I don't exist at all? I never feel that way. I feel it is the same me who, when I'm not interacting with the world, have the sense of that amness, is the same me who is again coming and interacting with the world. So the Purusha, the real Purushottama, is the one who transcends both this so-called, the pure, unadulterated feeling of that amness, that non-dual amness, as well as that amness being projected as the universe. Together, these two together, when taken into account, that constitutes the Purushottama. He transcends both. You cannot limit him by any of them. He transcends both. So the Purushottama is the one who is beyond the Kshara as well as the Akshara. He transcends both of them. As Sri Ramakrishna used to say, the same snake which is lying motionless, coiled, the same snake again, when it's moving, is the same snake. The moving snake, the snake which has raised its hoods, is the same snake which is lying motionless. So both the aspects are his. So that way he is Purushottama. that he is not just that non-dual entity. He also is the entire existence. So that way he is the Purushottama. So this will be discussed very elaborately in the 15th chapter, the Purushottama Yoga, the 15th chapter. So this here we find this term, has been used here in this verse, which will be elaborately dealt with in the 15th chapter, which means that the ultimate reality, the Lord, is not only that the consciousness, that's his para-prakriti, but his apara-prakriti, the lower manifestation, the entire existence, the consciousness through the mind, through the senses, is being projected as the universe, that also is his nature. So these two together constitutes his so-called identity. So, and that is the Purusha Uttama. So he is the Purushottama. He transcends reality both, as has been described in the 15th chapter, the perishable world as projected through the mind and the senses, the Akshara, and the Akshara, the self, the imperishable, unmanifest consciousness. So that's the meaning of the word Purushottama. And then Bhuta Bhavana. So here, as we were saying, that everything, he is the source of the entire existence. And it's not very interesting here, Bhuta Bhavana. This, he could have just mentioned the creator. Instead of creator, he is saying that he is from him everything has came, and bhava means it maintains its existence. His existence is being continued, is being nourished by him. So what it means, it is not that once for all he has created and he is out of the creation. He is immanent in it. Creation is something, not a one-time event. It's constantly going on. The Bhuta Bhavana indicates that. It's a constant process. This creation, sustenance, destruction is constantly going on, and he, as the Lord of the universe, because of him, this a constant process of creation is going on. If you read the first talk of Swami Vivekananda on Hinduism, there he is elaborating this idea that God has not created the universe at one point of time and again it is going to be destroyed at a certain point of time. No. He says this creation is an unceasing process. And he quotes some verse from the Vedas which says, "O Lord, you have created the sun, the moon, the stars in this kalpa, in this cycle, just the way you have created them in the previous cycle." Just to indicate this idea that this creation is a ceaseless thing. It's not just a one-time affair. So it's a continuous expression of the divine being. And that's being indicated by the term Bhuta Bhavana. And then Bhutesha. Bhutesha means the Lord of all beings. That why is the Lord? As we have said in so many other contexts, that I feel I am the Karta, I am the doer. But actually it is the Lord as the conscious principle sitting behind, as if within me. He is directing my mind. That example which we give, that the mind finds expression through that ego, that I am this body-mind complex, and with that ego, all the various samskaras are all connected. Just like the will, the hub of the will is the ego. That ego is being activated by the Lord, consciousness. And then that gives the sense that I am this body-mind complex. And with that, innumerable spikes are there, all connected. And we feel that I am the Karta, but actually as per the circumstance, a particular samskara gets activated. That I think it is my decision to go to some restaurant and enjoy a delicacy. But actually what has happened? I have already released that delicacy in the past. The samskara has been created, it is in my mind. When I am passing by that restaurant, it comes back as smriti, memory. And that memory, how it comes back? Because that the hub of the will, with the ego. All the samskaras are connected. Now it comes back. And it actually forces me to enter the restaurant, making me feel I have decided, but actually all these samskaras, which are all connected to the hub, the ahankara, which again is being activated by the consciousness, he is the one who is controlling. I have as such no control. These all mental modules, even in modern psychology, it's a very, very established fact that we are not the doer. It's all the samskaras, the mental modules, which are becoming prominent in our mind as per the external circumstances, making us do the things which we are doing, at the same time making us feel, I have decided. I have not decided. That's how the mind is constantly fooling us. It's actually like a propaganda machine. But who is the actual doer? That the Lord, being the conscious principle, who is activating the mind, the ego, the senses, he is the one who is sitting there, making me, that as in Bhagavad Gita only, in some other context it will be mentioned, this yantra rurani mayaya, that we are just like machine, yantra. Because of Maya, the Lord is sitting on this body, riding us just like a machine. But because of this ignorance, Maya, I feel that I am the Karta. But it is He. He is the Antaryami. So that's the meaning of the word Bhutesha. This indicates a very interesting thing. Again, that Lord is not something extra terrestrial, that's beyond this creation, that He has created and as if thrown the creation. He is the one transcendent, He is the one who has created, and at the same time He is immanent. He is within the creation as the Antaryami, as the Lord sitting in the heart of each and every being. He pervades the entire creation. So that's the meaning of the word Bhutesha. He is the Lord of all beings. And then Deva Deva. So Deva Deva. So we have the idea of the ultimate divinity, and we have the idea of aspects of divinity finding expression as the lesser gods. That you will find in the Vedas, like all the forces of nature have been personified to represent a particular divinity, like Varun Devata, the god of the winds, Indra, the god of the rain. So like that, there are so many gods, Agni Devata, the fire. What it speaks, the ultimate reality when is finding expression in this phenomenal existence. There are various aspects of it. All these aspects has been personified as the gods. And He is the God of the gods. The ultimate reality, He is finding expression as this universe, and the various aspects through which He is finding expression, these aspects are considered as the lesser gods, and He is the God of the gods. So just to give a common example, that there are in this room so many, these lights are shining. Each light is just like one of the god. Deva means it came from Div Dhatu, that which shines. So here these are the shinings, these are the devas. And who is the Deva Deva? The electricity, that is one. That electricity, the same electricity that is one, that is finding expression as so many lights. So electricity is the Deva Deva, light of the light. Just to give an example, the same idea we find Sri Ramakrishna is giving in the Gospel. He says that we find in India that from the terrace for water, when the rainwater to be drained out from the terrace, there are various outlets. And those outlets are in the shape of the face of various animals. Some will be the face of the lion, some of the face of the tiger, some of the elephant. And it appears as if when it's raining, the water is coming out of the lion's face, it is coming out of the tiger's face, it is coming out of the elephant's face. So it appears to be of this different. The lion, the tiger, the elephant, these all appears to be different. Water is coming out of them, but it is the same water, just the outlets are different. So Deva Deva is the same idea. This all the cosmic powers derive their power from the Lord, from Him. So that's why He's the Deva Deva. And then Jagat Pate. This is the Lord of the universe. Why is the Lord? When the ultimate reality finds expression as the phenomenal existence. It is always, that's what is the ultimate reality finds expression as when the universe, after all the universe is nothing but expression of energy. Even in science we read that mass and energy is interconvertible, that everything can be converted into energy. And beyond that energy is the Lord. It is the Lord which finds, in our scriptures they say, Brahma Shakti Abhed. So here in the science we have said Shakti and Jada Padartha are Abhed. E and this mass is equal to mc square, where E is the energy, M is the mass of the so-called all the matter. So this matter and energy are interconvertible. But in Vedanta we say this energy is identical with the ultimate consciousness. That consciousness finds expression as the energy. So Brahma Shakti Abheda. So this entire, the consciousness is finding expression as the energy, Shakti. But very interesting, this Shakti again follows certain laws. You will find at present with the science, with our science, we have found out that the entire universe at last can be deducted onto 4 types of energies, nothing else. Only there are 4 types of energies. All the expression, all the universe, the matters, everything which we are saying is a product of 4 energies. What are those 4 energies? The gravity, you all know, this pull of the various these celestial bodies. The gravity is one. And the second is the weak, the electrostatic force, the electric force. And the third is the weak nuclear force, and the strong nuclear force is the fourth. These are the 4. What it speaks of? The weak nuclear force and the strong. That weak nuclear force is what? We all know that the protons will be attracting the electrons. That in an atom, in the nucleus, there are the neutrons and the protons, and the electrons are all moving around. How they are moving around? Because the protons are positively charged, and we have all studied. It is a very basic science. And the electrons are negatively charged. So they are moving around because of the attraction in the, which we find is in the nucleus. All the protons are there. But have you ever questioned one thing, very interesting thing, that the like charge repels, unlike charge attracts. So the electrons are being attracted by the protons, and that results in this motion around they are not being dissipated. They have been kept together because of this attraction. But one question we always study, we never ask the question. The protons are all tightly packed within the nucleus in a very little space. They are all supposed to, they're supposed to fly off because of the repulsion. Tremendous repulsion is there. All the protons are packed in the nucleus. They are not moving out. So why? That is a strong nuclear force. It's a very interesting thing. That when this these particles, the protons, they are near, when the distance is very less, it's an astronomically small distance, extremely small distance. Beyond certain, when the distance is bit more, then they will be repelling each other. But when it is too less, the nucleus is very compact, then its property changes. Instead of repelling, they start attracting. Even the like charges start attracting each other when the distance is too small. And that is called the strong nuclear force. So this, you will find there is a wonderful balance between the strong nuclear force and the weak nuclear force. If it was not there, the atoms wouldn't have formed at all. So this science is now quite advanced to find out that there is a strong nuclear force, the weak nuclear force, and the balance between them has resulted in the formation of atoms. gravitational force that also has a particular measurement. If it was bit more, if it was bit less, the universe wouldn't have formed. You can easily understand that when I throw a stone to the sky, it comes back because of the gravity, isn't it? But now just see that there are some satellites moving around our Earth. They are neither falling nor they are being projected out. Why? Because the escape velocity, the velocity with which you have projected that satellite, if it was very high, it would have gone beyond the orbit, Earth's orbit. If it was very low, if that escape velocity was very low, the satellite would have been drawn back. It would have fallen on the Earth and crashed. So it has to be exact. The escape velocity has to be equal to the gravitational force. Then only it can move around this geostatic orbit. So just think of the Big Bang. We say of the Big Bang. If the force was a bit more, then what happened? All the things, which means all the matters which has been formed and projected, the force would have been so high that everything would have been dissipated. The galaxies, nothing would have formed. The stars, the galaxies, nothing would have formed. If it was bit more, everything would have been again pulled back to form immediately a black hole. It was exactly, the force was such minutely same that the creation was possible. So now, just why we are saying all those things, these are all matter of science. But why? When I say that he is the Jagatpati here, that even in science, they say the world is anthropic. What that means, that word? Is that everything was as if planned. That today that we are sitting here having a discussion on the Bhagavad Gita, it was as if planned at the very beginning of the creation. Why? That from our very superficial science, we may feel that it's all accident. Life has came out because of an accident. But very interesting, accident is a singular occurrence, isn't it? Suddenly something accident can happen. But can there be sequence of millions of accidents to at last result in a particular desired output? Just to say that just now we said the gravitational force was such that the creation was possible. The ratio between the strong nuclear force and the weak nuclear force was such that the formation of atoms was possible. Not only that, there are so many such coincidences. Then just take the Earth. It is tilted in 23.5 degrees. If this Earth was a bit perpendicular, the sun's rays would have been more perpendicular on the Earth. The heat would have been tremendous. No life would have been possible. If this, instead of 23.5, it is a bit more oblique, all the sun rays will be falling on the Earth in a much more oblique way. The angle will be much. And it will be so cold, life won't be possible. Take the size of the Earth. Just see that so many coincidences happening. Millions. Take the size of the Earth. If it was bigger, gravitational pull would have been bigger, will be larger, heavier gases would have been in the atmosphere. Life wouldn't have been possible. Methane and everything would have been on the atmosphere. If it was a bit less, only hydrogen and helium would have been there. Because of this less gravitation, what happens? Only the lighter, this Earth was small, you will find that moon also do have an atmosphere, but it is a very rarefied atmosphere because of low gravitation, that it cannot hold on to this oxygen which we need for life. So there again, the size of the Earth is such, its gravitational pull is such that this atmosphere which we are finding has been possible for life to be possible. Within the human body, it is called a wonderful homeostasis. Everything is so much balanced here. It's also like an accident. Just say, one example, that the one who has blood sugar, he has to take insulin, and now he has to be very careful about his food. If he is fasting, he will just become unconscious, because our brain doesn't store food. When the moment, that for a high blood sugar patient, if he's taking insulin but he has not taken food, then there won't be sufficient sugar to be carried through your blood to your brain. The brain immediately gets malnourished and immediately you fall unconscious. So you will find that those who have this blood sugar and are on insulin, they always have sugar cubes with them. So whenever they feel that they are about to swoon or fall down, they will take the sugar cubes. But very interesting thing, if a normal person is fasting, we can stay without food, or even science says that for about 3 weeks we can sustain ourselves without food. Without water, only 3 days. Without air, without breathing, only 3 minutes. So without food for 3 weeks, you can stay. Then I am fasting. Then my blood sugar level is supposed to fall, and then I am supposed to get unconscious and die. But I continue for 3 weeks. How? See, when I am injecting insulin, there is no question of homeostasis. There's a constant fixed amount of insulin has been injected. But for a normal person, when I am fasting, the insulin level drops naturally. When I am taking food, it is increasing naturally. Just see what a wonderful balance. Such thousands of balance is there within the body. Just Swami Vivekananda in one of his lectures says that science is a very poor imitation of nature. Very poor imitation. So nowadays, you go to the hospital, it is so sophisticated that a patient who is supposed to die has been sustained by so many all this support system. The lungs, that is also, there is something to pump your heart, your lungs, and we find such a wonderful advancement of science that through the drips, that exact amount of nutrients, everything is been given, medicine is given, but how he is sustaining? In the state of coma. Can he move around? Just think that for the nature, with all its balance, enables us to work as a normal person. And science, by trying to imitate the nature, can at the most keep you in that state of sustained animation. It cannot make you move around. So we are saying all those things? There are millions of coincidences, one after the other, has to have happened to at last say that there is nothing called God. When I'm saying there's so many energies has to come together. So why we are saying this? That to understand the word Jagatpati, that there is a wonderful rhythm. That in Sanskrit they say this thing wonderful. These truths were discovered thousands of years back. Wonderful. That the ultimate reality is expressed as Om, that absolute. It finds expression as Shakti, Reem. Reem is the Vachaka for Shakti. Om, Reem. And that Shakti again is not chaotic. It has a wonderful calculation is there. That when I project a satellite from the Earth's surface to soft land on moon, how can I do it? Because I know the law of gravitation is universal. Anywhere in the universe, the same law can work. And that's how I can calculate and do that. So what it speaks of? It speaks of the rhythm. There's a wonderful rhythm behind all these laws in the universe. They're all working in a particular rhythm. And that speaks of Jagatpati, that it's not something just a pattern. When you see the clouds in the sky, suddenly we may say, oh, the cloud is looking like a castle. It's just a pattern. It has happened. It was just moving and suddenly it has happened. But the world is not a pattern. It's a design. And whenever there is a design, there must be a designer. So these are the ideas. There are various ways we try to understand, and then we find through our senses, when we are trying to find out the cause behind the creation, you have to come to someone who is the designer, who is the Pati, who is the Lord of this entire creation. And that's the meaning of the word Jagat Pate, the ruler of the cosmic order. He's governing, he has created these laws. As we say, this way the physical laws are working, similarly there are moral laws. These commandments are there in religion. In the Abrahamic religion, there are commandments. In Vedic literature, you will find, in Vedas, you will find the do's and don'ts. The do's and don'ts, vidhis and nishedas. They are like commandments. What it speaks, that there are not only physical laws, there are some moral laws which is governing the universe. If we don't follow, the consequences are there. I cannot change the law. If I can change the law, it is no more a law. Just as I say that gravitation doesn't depend on my belief, that I don't believe there is gravitation. Am I going to fly? If I jump out of a 20-story building, am I going to fly as I don't believe in gravitation? I want to crash and die. So similarly, I say I don't believe in all these commandments, the do's and don'ts. It's the same way. Gravitation, as it doesn't depend on my belief, here also the same thing. It doesn't depend on my belief. It is going to act, just say that in the present world, that we don't believe, I say that I don't believe in the vidhis and nishedas. We had the concept of pancha yagya, 5 yagyas. Now in the name of our technological advancement, we have started exploiting nature instead of trying to understand the nature and relate to it through the yagyas. You will find that these were all in our scriptures. So now what is the outcome? The global warming, the climate change. So what has happened? The laws are fixed. I cannot break them. And that's how he is the pati, the one who has made the laws. It is his verdict. No one can change that. If I try to change that, I will have to face the consequence. As when someone asks Sri Ramakrishna, is there something called the absolute laws? That or everything is man-made. Ramakrishna, that when he was asked whether something is their ultimate truth, that there is something called absolute reality. Sri Ramakrishna never gave answer directly. He said, Lonka khele jhal lagbe. If you take chili, you are bound to have that hot sensation. So what was his intention? Yes, there are some absolute reality in the form of rhythm. That's the universal laws. So when I am having my food, if someone serves me some chili in a separate plate, now it's my choice whether I will take the chili or not. I will take the chili, I will enjoy its flavor, but I don't want that hot sensation. Can it happen? No. Lonka khele jhal lagbe. If you are choosing as per your choice, the consequences are fixed as by the law. I cannot change them. And that's how we find this word Jagatpati comes, that behind the Jagat there is a Pati who has made these laws which are so universal, whether it be physical or the moral. And he is the one who is that Jagatpati. So all these, each words you will find actually has a lot of meaning behind that. So that's why in the modern days, in the philosophy, they say that the philosophy lies in the language. If you can understand the language, the terms which has been used by a particular culture, by a particular civilization, you know its philosophy. This is each and every word that speaks of the philosophy behind it. So this is a Jagatpati. So this verse does what establishes three key things is being established. These 3 key Vedantic truths has been established in this verse. What are they? The inaccessibility of the Lord, of God, with the finite mind. With our finite mind, I cannot know the Lord. He is avang manasa gocharam. He is beyond our mind, beyond our speech. And then the self-luminous nature of the ultimate reality. It is He who alone knows Himself. It is because of Him everything is being revealed. And the third thing is the personal and the impersonal reality. Both has been blended nicely in this verse, in the Bhagavad Gita. That we will find the same idea even in the Bible. What they say? The Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. Just see here, Arjuna is addressing Krishna as all those things. That he is the Jagatpati, he is the Bhuta Bhavana, he is the Bhutesha, he is the Purushottama. And all these terms he is using. This actually all can be attributed to that absolute, but he is saying it to this person. So that's the same idea. that it is the Lord, that Absolute, who has manifested as this personal God, the impersonal, the Saguna Brahma, is nothing but the projection of the Nirguna Brahma. This absolute reality is finding expression as this personal God. And this wonderful blend which we find even in other religions, as just told in the Bible, that particular, that's the term, that's the sentence we find, which again expresses the same thing, that the Word was made the flesh. That absolute reality is made the flesh and dwelt among us. It dwelt among us. The Word was made flesh. So here also we find the Krishna, Arjuna, who is moving around with him. He's addressing him. He has now realized his reality and he's addressing him. And that way he's blending this Saguna and the Nirguna aspect of the absolute reality in a wonderful way. And that's when you blend these two, then the devotional aspect comes into picture. Otherwise it's only pure jnana. Now the devotion comes into picture. You are seeing a person not as a person, but as the Absolute. He has become the pratika of that. Through him you are seeing the Absolute. And then the question of devotion comes. So this verse marks the turning point of Arjuna. His attitude changes. Now the doubt changes into faith. So the Gita starts with the doubt, you will find. Now gradually you will find Arjuna is now developing more and more faith to the fact that Krishna is the absolute reality. He is the Lord of the Lords. So the doubt is being changed into faith, is being transformed into faith, is changing. His intellectual inquiry at last we are finding is changing into some receptive devotion. He's surrendering to Krishna and he's asking him, just show me, reveal to me. So this surrender, this inquiry has now been transformed into, ripened into surrender. So this devotional aspect is growing. So Bhagavad Gita starts with jnana. You will find as it proceeds to the 18th chapter, more and more the bhakti aspect is coming into picture. So here in the 10th chapter we find this phase, this transformation, the transformational phase has started. Now this inquiry is getting transformed into the devotion. And so he has now just said in this verse what? That you alone know yourself. And then please reveal yourself to me. Please reveal yourself to me. So this request we will find in the 16th, 17th and in the 18th verse. Then what does it say? This Vaktum arhasya seshena divya yatma vibhutaya yabhir vibhutivir lokan imang stvang vyapya tishtasi. That please describe to me your divine opulence, by which you pervade the entire creation and reside in them. So these are the ideas we were describing. So and then katham vidyam aham yoging stvang sada parichintayan keshu cha bhaveshu chintyosi bhagavan maya. So this is, the supreme master of yoga, how may I know you and always think of you, and in what various forms can I think of you, O Supreme Divine Personality? So these are the questions which is asking. And then we will find from the 19th to the 42nd verse, almost the entire chapter, remaining chapter, Sri Krishna will be describing Arjuna, the various aspects through which he finds expression as the veritable manifestation of the divine in the entire creation. And this is the wonderful thing, that the divine finding manifestation through the world, which has made us the worshippers of everything. We worship the river, we worship the tree, we worship the stone, because it's the same Lord who is pervading the entire creation as this manifestation. This reverence is something wonderful, which has never allowed us to persecute anyone. We find in our culture, Buddha came. He was defying the Vedas. He was denying the Vedas. Tirthankaras came. But seeing the supremacy of their character, the wonderful character, the inspiration behind the teaching, as it was told by our Lord, that in whatever you find excellence, as no I am manifesting through them. So we find that instead of persecuting, there was a reverential attitude. So someone said that how can Buddha be an incarnation? He lived for such a long life. Because our idea is, we find that if anyone is a prophet, he has to go through the persecution. They are persecuted quite in young age. Jesus died at the age of 32. And here, Buddha lived for 80 years. So why? This is because of this wonderful culture which has developed. That wherever you see excellence, you see the divine there. And even in the last class we were indicating that when Pope Paul VI, he came to India, he was surprised to see huge crowd. Wherever he went, there was a huge crowd of people. Huge crowd. In 1964. It is narrated by Swami Ranganathananda ji in his book on Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. There he is indicating that he came, he saw a huge crowd, and he first had the idea that is India having so many Christians? And when it was explained to him that no, those who are seeing you, they're not essentially Christians. They're from all religions. Just they want to see that you are as the head of this so-called this Catholic Christianity. So they see the divine in you. So this idea, this vibhuti. And even Pope Paul VI, he was really astonished, surprised to know that even as they don't belong to the same faith, they can come to him with this idea that divinity lies in each and every being, and that also he manifests specially through the chosen ones. This was a wonderful thing which he acknowledged. That is a wonderful culture. So this we find, this wonderful culture, the reason behind it is this vibhuti, the idea of this vibhuti, the Lord finding expression as a special manifestation through his creation. And that will be dealt with from the 19th to the 42nd verse, which we will again take up in the next class. So we conclude this class today, and there's an announcement just that the next Sunday we are not having the class because I will be going to Perth, and we have a center there, and there's some event there. For that I have to be there. So next week we are not having, and after all the next week is also a long weekend. That way I think many of you may have some other commitments too. Because on 9th I think is a Labor Day. And so the following week again we will have our class. So with this we stop.